Tengo 7 años.
We're in the early 2010s. In Malaga, Spain. Born to a Moroccan father and a Spanish mother, Brahim wasn't just another kid kicking a ball. He was different. The close control, the ability to weave through spaces tighter than in crowded elevator. Even as a youngster, he had that something. People in Malaga knew. He wasn't just talent. He was a phenomenon in the making. But to truly become the magician he was destined to be, he needed a bigger stage. A challenge that would test his resolve as much as his skill. When he touched the ball, it wasn't just a dribble. It was a conversation. He didn't use his pace to beat defenders. He used gravity and deception. He had this uncanny ability to make seasoned youth coaches look at each other in silence, realizing they weren't watching a student, but a prodigy who understood the geometry of the pitch better than they did. Life has a poetic way of rewarding those who dream. Fast forward a few years, and the boy from the sidelines wasn't just on the pitch. He was sharing the Real Madrid crest with Isco, a legend he once admired. Brahim also met Hakimi before. They were two strangers competing for a future in Spain. Today, they are two brothers carrying the dreams of Morocco. It began with a bold move, leaving the comfort of Malaga for the reign of Manchester. At City, the world caught its first glimpse of a technician in the making, learning from the best and proving he belonged on the big stage. But the call of home was too strong to ignore. Real Madrid came knocking, and Brahim answered, trading blue for the legendary white. He stepped onto the Bernabeu turf not just as a player, but as a symbol of the future. To truly master his craft, the journey took a detour to the San Siro. In Milan, Brahim found his rhythm. He became the heartbeat of the Rossoneri, wearing the number 10 with the grace and grit that only Italy can demand. Now, the journey comes full circle. Back in Madrid, battle-tested and more clinical than ever. The crown is waiting, and the journey has only just reached its most defining peak. Having represented Spain at every youth level from U17 to U21, and even scoring on his senior debut in a friendly against Lithuania, Brahim was technically a La Roja player. Spain saw him as the future of their midfield, a technician who fit their DNA perfectly. But in the background, there was a persistent, quiet heartbeat. The Moroccan Federation and coach Walid Regragui didn't just see a technician. Morocco, fresh off their historic 2022 World Cup semi-final run, they saw a centerpiece. Morocco offered him a nation to lead. They wanted him to be the face of the 2025 AFCON on home soil and the 2030 World Cup, while the Spanish Federation remained passive, waiting for him to earn his spot. Morocco rolled out the red carpet. They showed him that in Fez, Casablanca, and Marrakesh, he wouldn't just be another name on a list. He would be a hero. The world held its breath when the international break approached in March 2024. Then, the news broke. Brahim Diaz had officially chosen the Atlas Lions. It was a decision that sparked massive debate in the Spanish media. By choosing Morocco, Brahim embraced his father's roots and joined a golden generation alongside Hakimi and Ziyech. When Brahim put on the Morocco shirt, the world expected brilliance. But nobody, not even the most die-hard fans in Rabat, expected a statistical takeover of this magnitude. 7 goals in 6 games. Brahim finished the qualifying round as the top scorer of all African nations. The 2025 Africa Cup of Nations began. From the opening whistle in Rabat, Brahim started writing history. It started here against Comoros, clinical and composed, the first spark of a record-breaking run. Next came Mali, a high-pressure environment, but Brahim remained the calmest man in the stadium. With this strike, the Atlas Lions knew they had something special. 2 games, 2 goals. By scoring against Zambia, the goal made him only the second Moroccan in history to score in 3 consecutive opening AFCON matches, joining Ahmed Faris. But Brahim didn't stop at 3. Against Tanzania, he pushed into uncharted territory. The movement and the unexpected finish. The quarterfinals, the heavyweight clash with Cameroon. 5 matches, 5 goals. Brahim became the first player ever to score in 5 consecutive AFCON matches in a single campaign. He surpassed a national landmark that stood for 49 years. Every story of greatness eventually reaches crossroads where skill is no longer enough, where the air grows thin and the jersey begins to feel like armor, heavy, restrictive, and demanding. For Brahim, that moment arrived in the AFCON final. They say a penalty takes seconds, but for Brahim, it took 14 minutes. 14 minutes of whistles, protests, and a stadium holding its collective breath. He stood at the spot, the ball tucked under his arm, carrying the hopes of 37 million people who had waited 50 years for this moment. This is the true weight of the crown. It isn't the gold, it's the expectations. In a moment where the world expected power, the magician chose a trick. A panenka, a gesture of supreme confidence that, in a heartbeat, turned into a tragedy of execution. As the ball landed softly in the goalkeeper's hands, the crown didn't just feel heavy, it felt shattered. Football gave Brahim the chance to be crowned, to mark the history of Morocco forever, but the crown was too heavy for him. However, no matter how dark it gets, the sun will always rise again. And the Atlas Lion will roar louder than ever.